Today, I want to share with you the reason why we need to search for education. The reason why we must do whatever it takes to become an educated individual. Because uneducated individual leads to uneducated family. Uneducated family leads to uneducated community. Uneducated community leads to uneducated country. Uneducated country will lead to uneducated globe. The world will be educated if all of us strive to be educated. But then, what is education? Education is defined as a process of acquiring knowledge, skills, positive attitudes that will ultimately change your behavior, and you will be able to attain the best in this world and the best in the hereafter. It is that process which gives you an identity of a refined individual, a civilized individual, and an independent individual. Some people may even describe it as a process of acculturation. So education is a process that makes a human being complete. So anyone who desires to grow to a complete level, a comprehensive level, then the way to go is to get educated. Now, education is divided into two categories, and both these categories are very important. The first category is a personal obligatory education. This is Fard al-Ain. This is the education that is related to the revelation of the Almighty God, that every individual must acquire this education. The second one is the scientific education, scientific knowledge. This is the knowledge that is generated through research, which actually is needed for us to develop and construct positive lives. Now, with both of these, if one acquires them in a single packet, then that individual enjoys the best in this world and the best in the hereafter. Another thing I want us to really use in order to understand why it is important for one to get educated is looking at the word education itself. E in the word education means if you want to live life of excellency, then the route to follow is education. With education, you will live life of excellency. If you want to know the direction to follow in order to achieve success in this world and success in the hereafter, again, letter D in the word education gives you that direction. That means education gives you the direction on how you need to grow, develop, and reach your full potential. Education is the only tool that will assist you to understand yourself and ultimately understand the other people and understand your environment, and above all that, understand the Creator. And with all these understandings put together, then you live an effective, an efficient, and a productive life. C in the word education means it is the only way that you can be assured of living a constructive life, because the best among you, let me tell you, is the one who is most productive in his life. And you can never be productive without knowledge. You can never be productive without learning. You can never be productive without education. A, in the word education, it is the only key that develops your mental attitude. As you all may know, it takes your attitude, learns your attitude to go to the higher altitude. And attitude is everything in life. That is why they say, if 1, 2, 3 is equal to A, B, C, D, then attitude is 100%. It's a simple mathematics. With attitude, which is positive, you will always be a positive individual. And with education, that attitude is always refined. That attitude is always built in a very positive and in a very constructive way. Key in the word education. Education is the only way to train ourselves to understand that time is not on our side. With education, you get to realize how crucial your time is in life, and therefore no room to waste it. And if you want to be inspired, if you want to be motivated, if you want to reach higher levels, then the inspiration only comes through learning. The inspiration comes only through education. And for you, again, to be sure and to create strong belief in yourself, you have to be optimistic. That is the O in education. It gives you life of optimism. And life of optimism is life that is lived fully. Life that gives you an assurance, security, confidence, that believing that you have what it takes to succeed and become whoever you want to become. And then N, education is the only license that gives us a global identity, makes us neutral. With learning, with knowledge, with education, you go beyond your religious affiliation, you go beyond your religious affiliation, you go beyond your national affiliation. It makes you a global human being. So my dear brothers and sisters, any investment that we intend to indulge ourselves in, of course, is a good investment. But I want to sell you an idea of an investment that will never collapse, will never fail, and will never declare you back. That investment is investing in yourself. And investing in yourself means following the route of learning until you reach your maximum potential. Remember, those who are knowledgeable will never be the same as those who are not knowledgeable. Those who are educated will always rule those who are not educated. Those who are educated will always become and remain superior than those who are not educated. And as Nelson Mandela said in one of his books, it is only knowledge that can change you from a village boy to a global personality. Thank you, and may God bless you.